Are you thinking about converting your 883 to a 1200? Well, there might be a better option out there than just converting to a 1200. If you've got an 883 and you've had it for a little while, you've done your exhaust system, you've done your air intake, and you've done your tune, got you a little bit more power, and you're probably feeling pretty good about it. But now you're kind of getting to a point where you're used to the power, and you might even be debating about getting a new motorcycle. But wait, new motorcycles cost a lot of money, and then you've got to either trade in or sell your old one. But you like your bike. You just want more power out of it. Obviously, converting to the 1200 is a logical choice. But hey, let's face it, we own Harleys. They're not exactly logical, practical bikes anyhow. The 1200 kit's a great option, but what if there was something else out there? Something that didn't quite cost as much, and you'd get a heck of a lot more power. And even if you already have a 1200, it's still worth the upgrade on a 1200. Okay, so let's take a look at this kit that Harley-Davidson offers. This is the Screamin Eagle 883 to 1200 conversion kit. This kit's great if you're wanting to convert your 883 to a 1200 or even rebuild your existing 1200. But for $1,200 and a Harley-Davidson price, that's not a bad idea. I mean, it's not a bad price at all if that's the route that you want to go. So, stock, your 883, we're looking at about, we'll say 45 horsepower and roughly 42, 43 foot-pounds of torque right in there. And what Harley is saying with the 1200 conversion kit, and this is down here the little asterisk for this is with their street cannon mufflers, which are just kind of a upgraded version of your stock mufflers as it is. You're looking at about 67 horsepower, and that would also include being tuned with the Screamin Eagle Street Performance Tuner, because all these kits are mainly centered around being EPA legal, street legal, and all that. And so it looks like we're getting about 76 foot-pounds of torque. Not bad. I mean, if you had aftermarket slip-ons and an aftermarket tuner, or just a full-on aftermarket exhaust of any kind, of course these numbers are going to be a little higher, maybe in the little over 70 horsepower, maybe 75 horsepower, give or take. But taking a look at the kit here, you get the 1200 cylinders, you get a heavy duty clutch spring, flat top 10-to-1 compression pistons, you get an actual set of 1200 heads. Now the 1200 heads, they are different than the 883 heads. They are not the same. It's like we get our piston rings, wrist pins, some circlips, a set of gaskets, and to get you a fancy smanchy Screamin Eagle air cleaner. Because if you already got an air cleaner you like, you could sell that thing and recoup some of your money if you wanted to go that route. Okay, so we took a look at the 1200 kit that Harley-Davidson offers. A good conversion kit for your 883, or you could use it to do a top-end rebuild on your existing 1200 Sportster. At $1,200 at the Harley price, that's not bad at all for what you get in that kit, considering that Harley's Stage 4 kit is like $2,200 and you don't even get cylinders. I know there's a lot of aftermarket conversion kits out there on the market, but I thought we would take a look at the Harley-Davidson one, since it comes with the heads and you can do a complete conversion, which actually brings your 883 up to what a stock late model 1200 would be. Now that we've had a look at that, let's take a look at an aftermarket big bore kit. And there's only one of these on the market. There's two mad scientists in Idaho that created this sucker, and it is amazing. I never thought I would see the day anybody would come out with something like this. So let's go take a look at this kit and let's see what it offers. Okay, so Harley-Davidson said stock, the 883 is making about 45 horsepower. Looks like that's what the independent lab got here. Now, an 883, 1275, late model EFI, stock heads, W-cam. That is the stock complete. This is everything bone stock on the 883. And it looks like they got about 45 horsepower. Now, the 1275 kit, now keep in mind, this was the stock 883 heads, not the 1200 heads. We're getting 82 horsepower. 82. This is incredible. And even their 1250 kit, making about just under 80, right at 80 horsepower. Up at the peak at 5,500 RPM. That's not even ringing it out that hard. That's really, really impressive. I mean, considering that the basic conversion kit with the gaskets and everything is probably a couple $100 cheaper than the Harley kit, that's hard to beat. I mean, you can't beat that horsepower. That is some cheap horsepower, and a lot of it. So that's a pretty big difference between Harley's 1200 conversion kit or just going with the straight 1275 kit. I mean, if you're going to tear into your motor and get it tore down for a good little weekend project, for me personally, I'd go with the 1275 kit. I've got a 1200 and I'm looking at the 1275 kit because of the massive torque gain. One of the main things you want to look at is pay attention to the RPM range that you ride in. You really want to look at that. Mainly your riding is short shifting and you're shifting, at 4,500 RPM, or if you're ringing it out, you're maybe only going up to 5,500, 6,000 RPM. You want to pay attention to that because you don't want to spend more money and buy a kit that actually makes a little less horsepower in that RPM range. You want to make sure that you get a kit that's going to work for you and produce the most power for you in the RPM range that you ride in. Because that's where you're going to spend most of your time, and that's where you're going to feel most of that power. The only difference with the 1275 kit, though, is that you're getting the cylinders and the pistons. You're going to reuse your stock heads as is. Everything else is going to go back on. You'll need a gasket set and a few other assorted little items. You'll have to get a different clutch spring. That stuff can be bought on the aftermarket a heck of a lot cheaper than you can get it from the factory or from your Harley dealer. Essentially, with the 1275 kit, you're getting your cylinders, you're getting your pistons, and you're going to reuse your stock heads. And then, of course, you'll have to get a clutch spring, but you can find those aftermarket. I believe even Hammer sells them. My recommendation would be to give them a call and just talk to them. Tell them what your performance goals are. Tell them what your plan is, and they'll work with you to build a kit that is right for you, that's going to suit you perfectly. They want you to be happy. You want to be happy, and they're going to take care of you. They are an excellent company. And no, I'm not being paid by them or sponsored by them. I'm in love with their products. I think they're wonderful. They do an excellent job. And that's exactly what I'm considering for my bike right here. So as you can see, cost-wise, it's probably a better option to go with the aftermarket big bore kit versus just converting to a straight 1200. If you're going to spend the money on it and do all that work and take that time and put that effort into your motorcycle, you might as well go big. So now you might be wondering, okay, great. I've got the kit. I know what I want. But what do I do about installing it? Well, the truth is, they're really not that hard to install. If you got a little bit of mechanical knowledge, you can do it yourself. Go get yourself a Harley-Davidson service manual, the one from the Harley dealer. They're about $70, but they are absolutely invaluable on these motorcycles. You can literally take one of these bikes down to the bare frame, including stripping the motor, splitting the cases, everything. You could do all that with this book and put it all back together. They're really not that hard. Hammer even has an entire tutorial on how to go through the engine and get their kit installed. I mean, like I said, these guys are absolutely wonderful with the support they give you out there. You can do it yourself with some basic hand tools, some torque wrenches, get a buddy or two, case of beer, make a weekend out of it in the garage. Heck, it's getting cold. It's a good time to do one. If you decide you don't want to do it yourself, my best recommendation would be to find yourself a good independent shop that is familiar with Harley-Davidson. Give the instructions that Hammer sends to you to them, and they can take care of it for you. An independent shop is going to be a lot cheaper than going to the dealer, if the dealer will even install it for you. I know some dealers are a little on the side if you bring in parts, outside parts, and want them to put it on. But an independent shop, they'll give you a good upfront price, and hopefully they're not going to be charging you $90 to $100 and some odd an hour like the Harley-Davidson dealer will. Yeah, they're expensive. Going to the Harley dealer is very, very expensive, but you get what you pay for there. I mean, they're pretty good. This is some of the cheapest horsepower you could put on your 883. I mean, this will turn your 883 into an absolute monster. And this is without even putting new cams in it or anything. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I know I enjoyed making it. I've been wanting to talk about this for a long time. If you have any questions, just drop them in the comments. Anyhow, guys, wintertime's upon us. It is a great time to start working on your motorcycle. I know I haven't been able to get out and ride a lot here lately, so I'm kind of trapped here in the garage doing little heres and theres on the motorcycles right now, but hopefully as soon as we get some clear weather, we'll get out there and start riding again. Get some cold tires out on cold pavement and see what kind of fun we can have with that. Till next week, I'll catch y'all later. Stay safe out there.